Urgent Niners fan, look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest Niners news. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. One trade-down proposal the 49ers might consider in the upcoming NFL draft. ESPN's Bill Barnwell did a wacky mock draft where the 49ers trade down and add a player from the Dolphins. The San Francisco 49ers told us they have a dire need at defensive tackle when they released both starters this offseason. Because of that, now the entire NFL knows, that doesn't mean the Niners are picking a defensive tackle at number 11 overall in the upcoming NFL draft. Still, seeing other teams maneuver around San Francisco, knowing the positions they're eyeing, wouldn't be surprising. ESPN's Bill Barnwell conducts an out-of-the-box mock draft annually that involves every team making a trade in the first round. He has the 49ers doing business with Mike McDaniel, and the Miami Dolphins 49ers get 113, edge Jalen Phillips Dolphins get 111, 41-13. Here's one more deal for the Dolphins to get ahead of the Cowboys at number 12 to take a defensive tackle. The 49ers would move down 2 spots and give up a 4th-rounder, but they would land a potential starter and cornerstone on the edge. Phillips has looked like a budding breakout candidate, but injuries have stalled his progress. He had 22 sacks over his first 2 seasons, but he tore an Achilles in 2023 and then tore his ACL early in 2024. Adding Phillips would make the 49ers infinitely better at edge rusher and allow them to still draft a defensive tackle of their choice. They could even take the best player available, come back in round 2, and take the next best of the defensive tackle, cornerback, or offensive tackle group. As much as I love Phillips, he's somewhat of a throw-in for this trade. His injury history predates his time in the NFL. As a freshman at UCLA, Phillips sprained an ankle that knocked him out for a few games, and a concussion limited him to 6 games that season. The next season, a car injury caused Phillips to undergo multiple operations and remove various bones, which eventually led to him being advised to retire from football at 19. His final season at the University of Miami, where he had 5 tackles for loss and 8 sacks, led to Phillips getting drafted in the first round. However, the injuries noted above have put a ceiling on Phillips's career and could be more of an indicator of what's to come. The last time the 49ers traded down in the first round, they passed up Tristan Wirfs for Javon Kinlaw. So as popular as trading down is, sometimes it's best to simply take the best player on the board. The 49ers must decide if whichever player they covet would be available 2 picks later, and if a player with an extensive injury like Phillips fits into their plan. History would suggest no, especially coming off a 6-win season where the Niners couldn't field their free agents they signed from the previous offseason. Pausing this news, just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest Niners news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks. Now let's get back to the news. Will 49ers trade for Kirk Cousins if they don't extend Brock Purdy? If Purdy is twice as expensive as Cousins, is Purdy really worth it? As General Manager John Lynch said at the NFL Scouting Combine last month, there's no guarantee the 49ers will extend Brock Purdy's contract. They'd like to extend it, but if he demands too much money, they could pursue more cost-effective options, such as Atlanta Falcons quarterback Kirk Cousins. Obviously, Purdy would be the best option for the 49ers if he were to accept a 3-year deal worth no more than $100 million, but if he wants a 5-year deal worth more than $250 million, the 49ers could send him to a team that wants to pay him that much and then trade for Cousins. Cousins is signed through 2027, and his base salaries the next 3 seasons are $27, $5 million, $35 million, and $35 million, which means Cousins would cost the 49ers $97, $5 million for 3 years. Again, Purdy would be a much better option than Cousins at that price because Purdy is 12 years younger than Cousins. But if Purdy is twice as expensive as Cousins, is Purdy really worth it? Remember, Cousins and 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan are dear friends. They've known each other since 2012. Shanahan is the one who drafted him. And Shanahan wanted to bring Cousins to the 49ers before the front office traded for Jimmy Garoppolo in 2017. If the 49ers can't come to a long-term agreement with Purdy, you can bet that Cousins will be Shanahan's preferred fallback option. Guessing Cousins would prefer to play for the 49ers than the Browns, the team that currently is rumored to want him. Just saying. John Lynch explains why the 49ers released and re-signed Kyle Juszczyk. With all due respect to Lynch, I simply don't buy his answer. The strangest move the 49ers made this offseason was cutting Kyle Juszczyk and then resigning him 4 days later to essentially the same contract they had just terminated, and they took on a dead cap penalty to do this. On Monday, General Manager John Lynch was asked about this highly strange move. Q, can you explain the financials with Kyle Juszczyk? Letting him go, taking a dead cap hit, and then bringing him back, was it a win? Is it kind of a push? Lynch, I think it's a win because we have a really good football player who's at the core of our leadership on our team, was a captain last year, and has a chance to make that 10-year wall. That would be really, really cool. We tried to show him the respect that he deserved to go see what his market was. And that, at the end, we found a way to make it work. When I come around these things and am around a smart football team, I don't think it's any secret that people have a high respect and regard for Kyle Shanahan's offensive acumen and scheme, and at the forefront of that is always the way we use Juszczyk and our fullback. It presents issues and challenges to our opponents. He takes such great care of himself that although he's older, not much has changed with him. For him to be able to see what was out there and us to be able to find ultimately a contract situation that worked out for him and us, that's pretty cool. We're happy to have him back. We got him back, and we've done away with having to deal with this next year. I think Kyle will have 2 good years with us, and we'll see where that goes from there. We're fired up to have the Juszczyk, not just Kyle, but Kristen, back with the Niners. My take, with all due respect to Lynch, I simply don't buy his answer. If resigning Juszczyk was such a win, the 49ers never would have released him in the first place. Juszczyk is pure window dressing at this point in his career. He does not move the needle, as opposed Dre Greenlaw, who is a bona fide needle mover. Finally saying he's fired up to have Juszczyk's wife back is just weird. It's almost like the Juszczyks are family friends of the 49ers, and the Greenlaws weren't. John Lynch says the 49ers have a pretty steady offensive line. Everyone agrees that the 49ers' weakest position group the past few seasons has been their offensive line. Everyone except the 49ers. Everyone agrees that the 49ers' weakest position group the past few seasons has been their offensive line. Everyone except the 49ers. If you ask General Manager John Lynch, he'll tell you that the 49ers' offensive line isn't an issue at all. Check out what he said about the O-line on Monday at the NFL annual meeting. On the lines in particular, you're always looking to add and improve, Lynch said. I will tell you, we like our right tackle. We like our center. Left guard, we have some candidates in-house right now. Will we look at add in the draft? Certainly. That's something where I don't follow the narrative of where our guys are. We evaluate our players and we think we've got a pretty steady group. When Trent Williams is down, you're not going to be quite as good. We'll try to improve our offensive line through the draft, but a lot of good pieces there already. Lynch's comments reveal why the 49ers' offensive line never will be a strength of the team. And that's because the 49ers aren't trying to build a dominant offensive line. They merely want one that's steady, and as long as Trent Williams is the highest paid offensive lineman in the NFL, the other 4 starters will be cheap. Which means the 49ers like Jake Brendel and Colton McKivitz at their current salaries because they're dirt cheap veterans. Fortunately for the 49ers, rookies also are cost-effective, so expect them to draft a few next month. And now, Niners fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for Niners. I'll be back any moment with more Niners news.